Sleep is extremely important. As a matter of fact, the most important component to your fitness, all right? So you may think that you're building tons of muscle or you're losing lots of fat off minimal amounts of sleep and that, well, you can get away with it, but trust me, and the research, you cannot. You're holding yourself back big time. So in this video, we're gonna go over some key tips as to how you can improve your sleep and your sleep quality. Hey, what's up YouTube? It's your boy John Mango and I'm back again representing Beyond the Iron. I drop weekly fitness content on this channel to help you get to those goals faster and more enjoyably. So if you're interested in doing that, consider subscribing below. So I'm gonna quickly discuss sleep and go through a little anecdote first, and then I'm gonna go into some very important, over 12 important steps you can start taking immediately to improve not only the amount of sleep you're getting, but the quality of that sleep, because quality is actually more important than the quantity in a lot of cases here. Any and all studies that I need to back up my claims will be listed down below, but I do want to say this: they are in accordance with MASS, which is the monthly application in strength sport by Greg Nuckols and Eric Helms. And also, I do want to say this before we start. This book right here, it's called Why We Sleep, and it's by Matthew Walker. It's a relatively new book that came out, and this book will change your life, your perspective, and everything, all the information you've ever known about sleep. This book will change it, and for the better. Okay, so I'm gonna leave a link to this book. You can pick up a copy for yourself down today in the link in the description. So I've handed this to a lot of friends, family, and it's changed their lives, myself included. So be sure to pick it up, and this is all research-based stuff as well. So I'm gonna be taking a lot of the tips, tricks, cliff notes, and research from this book to apply to this video. So with that said, let's talk about it, okay? Let me just condense essentially what that book is right here on this video. Now, you may find yourself in a position where you're sleeping 6 hours or less a night, and maybe you don't think it's that bad. And by the way, this goes for more than just fitness, but your overall well-being, health, and wellness, mental cognition, and all of that. If you're getting less than 6 hours of sleep, or even less than 7 hours of sleep a night, you're significantly holding yourself back in all of those areas. As it pertains to fitness, it has been shown and proven via some of the studies listed in here, which again you can find in the description below, but talking about how muscle mass is severely hindered, and there's actually very many situations where they found that people lost muscle and gained fat simply by drastically reducing their sleep in comparison to the other test group, which had more sleep and the same amount of calories, exercise regimen, all of that. It's very important to know. I used to be there. Trust me, I used to sleep 4 hours a night and thinking that once I got used to it, that I'm fine, I don't need any more. This way I can get more work done, still get to my fitness goals, and be a machine, right? Well, that's where you're wrong, and it will hit you eventually. I'm making this video to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes I did, because when it hit me, it took me almost an entire year to recover from the consequences I suffered from it, okay? So with that said, make sure that the sleep is the foundation to your routine, whether it's for improving your business even, your relationships, your marriage, your family. All of these other things too are heavily dependent on your sleep, and it comes before anything. So now that hopefully I've given you a pretty good idea as to how important sleep actually is, and again, if you don't believe me, just check out the bottom of the description. I want to go into some very actionable, important steps you can take, as well as some cool hacks and products you can check out for yourself to help improve your sleep dramatically. And this is also going to come from the book, but let's dive right in. So the very first thing, and it turns out is the most powerful thing you can do to improve your sleep immediately, is start sticking to a consistent sleep schedule. That means going to sleep and waking up at the same times every single day. Now, it's also noted that doing this for 5 days of the week and then drastically throwing your sleeping schedule off for the weekend, which a lot of people do, is not going to work out so well. So it's not enough to be consistent 5 days a week and think that you're doing the best for your body. In that case, try to pick a schedule that you can actually carry over and keep on the weekends as well. This is the number one most important and powerful thing you can do to actually get your circadian rhythm in sync, meaning your hormones are going to be in sync throughout the day. You're going to feel as good as you possibly can when you wake up, and you're going to perform your best day in and day out if you do it. Now, of course, that sleeping schedule should be giving you the adequate amount of sleep that you're looking for, which should be between 7 to 9 hours. Any less than 7, and I mean any less, will start having dramatic negative impact on your health. Now, it's also important to note that when it pertains to strength sport and fitness, maximizing body composition, muscle mass, and lowering body fat, it's actually more ideal to get between 8 or 9 hours of sleep, just because we need more of that restorative deep sleep along with the REM and the light sleep as well. Another important tip is avoid a heavy meal late at night, okay? If you have a big meal, obviously it's taxing on the system. Your body has to utilize a lot of energy to break it down and to consume it. So that said, if you have this meal within an hour of going to sleep, it's actually going to cause your heart rate to be elevated throughout the night, meaning that you're actually not going to recover from your workouts as much or from the stresses of that prior day. On the topic of stress, it's very, very important that you do your best to keep stress at a minimum, because as I'm sure we all know now, stress is a silent killer, and most of the reason why that is because it interferes drastically with your ability to not only sleep, but to get quality sleep when you do. So if you're very stressed out, you got to take some measures. You got to take action on that. Things like meditating every day, unguided meditation where you're simply trying to bring yourself into the present moment, because any and all stress is really just caused by external thoughts of the future or the past. In other words, things that don't actually matter despite what you think. Next tip is one that seems very obvious, but for some reason most people don't seem to follow it, and that is avoid stimulants, caffeine, and alcohol right before bed. As a matter of fact, caffeine you should be avoiding up to 7 hours before bed, simply because the half-life of it is 7 hours, which means you might still have it in your system by the time you go to sleep, and caffeine can impair your REM sleep. And the same goes for alcohol, whether or not you're having a lot of drinks or just a few. Now, if you have one, it may not be a big deal, but when you start having multiple drinks, it's going to interfere with that REM sleep, which is crucial to you having good quality sleep and feeling rested when you wake up. Next up is actually do your best to avoid strenuous activity. That means heavy workouts right before bed for the same reasons as the heavy meal. It's going to get your heart rate jacked up. You're going to be in recovery mode immediately after, and by the way, chances are you're going to eat after that workout too, which will also be right before bed. So a bit of a double whammy there, but do your best to schedule your workouts preferably in the morning times. That will actually lead to better sleep quality at night. When it comes to setting up your room, your environment when you sleep, it's very important. Make sure that it's as dark as possible in the room, even if it's not outside. Make sure it's very dark in your room at least, okay? The darker the better. Also, the quieter the better. These have actually been shown to make quite a significant impact in your overall sleep and how often you wake up through the night and stuff like that. Also, you want to try to avoid keeping gadgets in your room, things with blue light, especially things like staring at your phone last second before you go to sleep, putting it down and then trying to go to sleep like that. That's going to severely interfere with your REM sleep. So try to at least shut this off on airplane mode and just avoid using it at least 30 minutes before bed. Some relaxing techniques before bed would be very helpful, something like an Epsom salt bath to help with the recovery, but it's also going to act as a double benefit, because when you take a warm bath right before bed, getting out of that bath is going to cool your internal body temperature, which has also been shown to help with your sleep. Taking something like a nice bath helps with recovery, lowers the temperature in your body, and helps you relax, reduce the stress, and sleep better. Another thing actually is to try to avoid naps after 3 p.m. Although naps can be absolutely amazing to recharge you throughout the day, they can actually hinder your sleep later on, simply again because we're working against the hormones that we need to activate at a specific time to help us go to sleep on time. So with that said, try to incorporate naps if possible, or if you feel like you need them, but make sure that they're before at least 5 hours before you're going to sleep. And one cool gadget that you can check out, by the way, is this right here. It's called an Aura ring. Okay, it looks like that. And I recently started using this. I'm going to be coming out with a full review about this very, very soon, as it's only been about 1.5 weeks of me testing, and I'm gonna give it another week or so before I drop a full review. But tracking the sleep, whether it's with an Aura ring or with another fitness tracker, can go a very long way to actually open your eyes. Similar to tracking your calories, it's gonna open your eyes to realize I'm not getting nearly the amount of sleep that I thought I was. So tracking your sleep is always a good idea. Tracking everything you can track, similar to calories, is always the best way to go about it. So if you can incorporate all those tips, get yourself something that's gonna help you track your sleep. That way you can stay on point with it, adjust, tweak, and optimize it. Then you're gonna live and feel that much better every day. You're gonna perform that much better in the gym. You're gonna recover that much more from your workouts, and overall, you're gonna look and live better. So with that said, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you found some actionable, helpful, and different tips that you feel like you can start applying immediately to optimize your sleep. And if so, please give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment below whatever else you'd like to see, or if you'd like to see this review. I'm gonna see if I can get a discount code for all of my subscribers out there. And with that, share it with your friends who are convinced that they don't need that much sleep, because it's bullshit. And also, don't forget to subscribe for weekly fitness content coming as always. Thanks again, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.